Hi, Jesse with eTrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at and I'll show you how to install the CURT Class III Hitch on a 2025 Acura MDX. Adding a hitch to a car like the MDX makes a ton of sense, especially if, like in our case, we have a third row and our neighbor today plans on having those third rows all full basically all the time. It gives them the ability to add some more storage space, whether it be a bike rack or a cargo carrier, and you could also do some light duty towing with this hitch. Now for a closer look at our hitch here, as you can see it has hidden cross beams and a nice gloss black finish, which in my opinion, I really like the matte black finish of the eTrailer option. That's going to match up nice with this lower trim, and it installs the same way and has the same weight capacities. But here is the receiver opening. That's going to be your standard 2-inch by 2-inch. It's going to fit most of your accessories or anything that you would want to add on to that. As for the pinhole, that's again a standard 5/8 inch. The pin and clip does not come included with the hitch. However, we do have many options available on our website. Also, any accessories that you're going to add on will most likely come with one included. Other than that, we have the safety cable loops, which are a nice round design, super easy to get a large clevis style on there or any other style safety cable that you might have. Now for some measurements. From the ground to the top of the inside of the cowler, looks like 14 1/4 inches. So just keep that number in mind for any accessories that you're going to add on, just to make sure you have plenty of ground clearance. From the center of the pinhole to the farthest out edge of the bumper is about 3.5 inches. So again, keep that in mind for any folding accessories, just to ensure that they don't make contact with the vehicle. As for the capacities of the hitch, the gross trailer weight will be 6,000 pounds. That's the amount of weight that you can pull behind the vehicle. The tongue weight is 900 pounds. That's the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. So keep those numbers in mind, but also be sure to double check your owner's manual. Your vehicle will have its own specific towing capacities. So take all of those numbers, choose the lowest one, just to make sure you're safe on the road. This vehicle does come equipped with a hands-free liftgate assist. A lot of people with that option on their car will ask us if that will still function properly after the hitch is installed. In our case today, it does. We did have to make some minor modifications just to the bracket that holds everything up, but it still functions as it should. You kick underneath and the liftgate will open. All in all, I think you really can't go wrong with the CURT hitch. It's a well-built hitch that looks great on the back of the Acura, in my opinion. As far as the install goes, it's just a matter of lifting it up into place and throwing some bolts in. We did come into that issue with the liftgate assist sensor. So if you want to see how we worked around that, feel free to stick around and find out. If this is not something that you're ready to do on your own, maybe you just don't have the time or space or tools, then check out our dealer locator to find somebody willing to help you with that process. Otherwise, if you want to see how we set up ours, stick around and find out. So first step will be to lower our spare down. We already got that down and took it off out of the way. If you're working on the ground, you really can just lower it down and leave it lay on the ground. Now we'll look into our weld nuts. We have 3 on each side. So it's a good idea to come in with a wire brush, clean those up, and then once they're clean, run your bolts in and out a few times. Just for when you're lifting the hitch up into place, sometimes there's a lot of dirt and debris in here. You don't want to be carrying the weight of the hitch and then also fighting some rough threads in there. So we'll get all 6 holes cleaned out and then we'll move on to the next step. When it comes to models like this one that have a kick sensor back here, we found in the past that when we try to lift our hitch into place, this is just obstructing us a little bit. So we're gonna have to relocate this. So I'll start by removing it. First you'll need to unplug it, so pull back on the gray tab, push your pin down, pull it out. And then come in with a flathead screwdriver or a pin removal tool. Pop these off. For now, I'll just kind of leave that hanging up there out of our way. Now we have 4 Phillips screws to remove and 2 push pin fasteners. On these, you just kind of work your way under the center piece, slide it out, and then they should pull out. Now we'll take this over to a place that we can work on it. Here's what our kick sensor looks like removed from the vehicle. These are just 2 antennas running along the length of the rear fascia and then this module. So what I'm going to do is, since the hitch is only pushing on the center of it, I'm going to make a cut right here so we can mount the bracket. Of course, I'm going to uninstall the antenna first so we don't cut through that. And then I'll make a cut here so that we have a way to keep the antenna up and out of way. Like I said, before we cut, we need to make sure our antenna is out of the way. It just slides out of these clips. So we'll do that. And on the other one, just want to make sure that we're not cutting through that, because then our kick sensor will not work. So kind of keep those off to the side. Now we'll make our cuts. I'm using a multi-tool. You could also use a Dremel or something like that. I'm just going to cut right past these clips so I can still use them, and then again on the other side. So once again on the other side, I'm going to cut right past this so I can still use this clip. So now that that's cut, we'll reinstall our kick sensor here. I'm just going to hand tighten it for now. We'll take our other panel. We'll have to clip our antenna in first because those go behind it. Should just push on the top and the bottom. And with that there, we can slide it down. We'll get our fasteners reinstalled. And get our push pin on the other side. So we had this all mocked up, and then we tried to fit our hitch in. We were still running into fitment issues where we were bumping into these plugs. So what I'm going to do is actually rotate the module 180 degrees. So it's just held in by this one T10 Torx. Remove that. And then this will slide out. We'll take this, rotate this so the plugs are on the outside. Just get everything lined up there. You'll see there is a hole on the other side that matches. So we'll just put our T10 Torx screw back in. So we got this all mounted up with our Phillips screw and our push pin. To plug this back in, it is kind of tight, but it should be just fine. You may have to remove some of these push pins just to get some slack out of it. We got this all in position, and we should be ready to lift our hitch up. For all of our bolts or hardware that we're installing today, they're going to install the same way. You'll have the conical tooth washer with the teeth facing up towards the hitch, and the bolt, of course. So we'll install all of these, then get them tightened down, and then we're ready to torque. For this step, it's a good idea to have an extra set of hands to lift the hitch. It's pretty heavy. I have my friend Joe here to help me. We're just gonna have to lift it up over the exhaust, and then bring it forward, and try to line up our holes. And then we'll get one bolt started. Get that threaded in pretty good, and it should just hang there. Now we're tightening these down with a 22mm socket. Now for the next step, you will need a torque wrench. If you don't own your own, we do have them available here at eTrailer, or you can always rent one from your local auto parts store. So I'll go through, torque each bolt down to the specification listed in the instructions. With everything torqued down, all that's left is to reinstall the spare. Other than that, that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the CURT Class III Hitch on our 2025 Acura MDX.